Hello, welcome to this weather update. So let's see the severe weather for today. It's a marginal risk in parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and eastern Colorado. Another marginal in North Dakota and Montana, going to Canada. And there's this here, that there's an enhanced risk in parts of southern Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and even parts of New York. So that's a big deal. Let's see, there's this light from Kentucky all the way up into Quebec. There's this marginal from from Arkansas all the way into Maine and Canada. So let's see. Tornado threat is kind of big today in an unusual area. So it's 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point. So they're in parts of New Hampshire and Vermont and Massachusetts especially. And there's this 5% surrounding the 10% and affecting parts of Quebec too. And there's this 2% from Ohio to Maine and affecting parts of Ontario and Quebec as well. So please be careful there. This is an important tornado threat. Please be careful if you are there. So let's see here. Wind is also big. It's 30% in that general area of the enhanced risk. And there's this 15% from Kentucky to Maine and Quebec. And this 5% from Arkansas to Maine and Quebec. So be aware. There's this 5% also in Kansas and Nebraska and Colorado. And this 5% in North Dakota, Montana, and parts of Canada. So be careful there too with that wind. Hail is just 5%, 5% there too, and nothing in the plains, just there and there, 5%. Let's see. Scared, damaging winds and a few tornadoes are likely across parts of the northeast into the Ohio-Tennessee valleys this afternoon and evening. Isolated severe storms are also possible over parts of the central and northern plains. So be aware, especially there in the northeast. Please tell others you know there to be weather aware this afternoon and evening. So let's see here. We have that big low pressure there up in Canada. We're bringing all those heavy rains and storms in Canada there, in Ontario and Quebec. And then we will also have a little line here of showers and storms. And some showers are affecting the northeast. And then this low pressure kind of go further northeast. And then by early this afternoon we have more rain there in parts of Maine, New Hampshire and Quebec. And then it progresses and the low pressure is there in Ontario, kind of spawning some storms there. So some storms might start firing there by early this afternoon in Ontario. So let's see. And by like mid to late afternoon, especially mid-afternoon, we start getting lots of storms appearing in New York, New Hampshire, and Vermont, and more in parts of Quebec there, and some even in Ohio and Pennsylvania further south here. But these ones could be especially strong here, especially in parts of southeastern Ontario, Quebec, Vermont there. Look at these cells, some pretty strong cells there in parts of northern Vermont, New York, and especially Quebec there. And I'm not sure that's like eastern Ontario, I think it's Quebec. So let's see. These storms continue here through late afternoon and evening, and moving to Maine to by this evening, I think, or very late this afternoon. So, and then these storms go from New Hampshire into Maine, and look at this, very strong cells there, some big damaging winds, because often when it's kind of in a line, damaging winds is the main threat, but this line could definitely spawn tornadoes too, so be aware. And let's see, and it continues through the night there, and then it kind of exits the coast by the end of this run. So let's see. The low pressure is still there in Canada and bringing some more isolated storms there in Quebec and Maine and parts of northern New Hampshire by tonight. So be aware, please. And further south here, we will start getting to this afternoon lots of storms popping in Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, especially Ohio there, showing some stronger storms in Pennsylvania too. And then they keep going there. Some more big storms there by this evening, Pennsylvania into West Virginia there, and some more further there in Kentucky too. So be aware, and especially in the northeast and in Canada, these storms will be really dangerous. So let's see here some other things. This is the Cape, the instability. We might get more instability there this afternoon, with showing more Cape in those regions there. So there will be instability. And let's see what else we can get. Let's see if there's something interesting. Especially, wait, her. Here, let's see. So, severe weather. Let's see if there's something with this significant tornado perimeter here. Let's put it until the end of the run. And it shows, yeah, it doesn't show much there, but it shows some signals for New Hampshire and some areas there. But I don't know why it's showing this like in Iowa and other areas there, if there isn't actual risk of severe weather there today. It's in the northeast. But we can get a better idea with this. This is the updraft helicity, the probabilities of spin of rotating updrafts. This is mainly for large hail, because this tends to bring large hail, but it can indicate strong storms with tornadoes too. So it has almost nothing for everywhere there, but it's showing more in the northeast, of course, because the enhanced risk is there. So I don't know what that tornado parameter was doing, but this is the right forecast. So it's showing a lot of helicity tracks there in the northeast, going from Vermont to Maine, and some in Canada too. So even some in the Ohio Valley, some scared ones. Yeah, and let's see here. What else? This is storm relative helicity. I like the ingredients in the atmosphere. Let's see here. This is the supercell composite. So let's see sometimes here. Yeah, it shows more for the northeast there, a little bit. There too, let's see. Yeah, so let's see some easier things here. This is it, I think. So please be careful there with these storms, and warn people there too, that there'll be strong storms, very severe storms this afternoon and evening there, and especially in Quebec there, and parts of Ontario too. So if you know someone there, tell them, and send this video if they are interested. So let's see some rainfall things here. So day day one for today, it shows more rainfall in Canada there, some higher totals, even in Maine and through the eastern US, some areas more in Florida too, in the Bahamas, some more rain as well, southern Texas too, and in Mexico because of the system, in the Four Corners a little bit, up here, in parts of the north there, and in Canada. So day two for Monday, still some in the northeast, some there, and more there in those areas. Day three, more in the central Midwest there, and in Florida some areas. Day four for Wednesday, more in the northeast, it shows through the south central east, and more in these areas here, and there in Western Canada too. Day five for Thursday, I think, more in the northern plains in Canada, the Four Corners, and down the southeast, even in Atlanta, Canada there. For day six, more in central Canada, the Midwest, parts of the plains, in Mexico, and some in Florida, the Bahamas. Day seven, going like through the central US down to the Four Corners, and more in east central Canada there, and some in Florida. So days 1 through 7 is like this. Lots there in some areas, there in Florida, Mexico, and other areas. So let's see here the hazards. There are some red flag warnings, some heat warnings, heat advisories, some flood watches, and more stuff. And there will definitely be some tornado watches this afternoon and severe thunderstorm watches there. So stay tuned up to the National Weather Service. So let's see. And even for Canada here, we just have some rainfall warnings down there in Ontario and Quebec, and some other stuff. So rainfall warning, more rainfall warning there, rainfall warning, and in my guess, I think these areas here of Ontario, maybe Quebec, might get some severe thunderstorm watches and tornado watches this afternoon, because the HER was showing some really strong storms there. So there'll definitely be some watches there. So let's see. In Alberta too, some heat warnings and special air quality. And they even have a severe thunderstorm warning there in, in British Columbia. But that will expire soon. Let's see. Special weather statement for some heavy rain, parts of British Columbia, like I showed you yesterday. This is it. These warnings will likely be different by the time you're watching this video. So let's see here. Some excessive rainfall. So this was yesterday until 12Z. Now day one, marginal in the southwest, in Texas, and all the way from Tennessee to Canada, and this light in Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont. Day two, a marginal there, marginal in the northeast, and marginal in the southwest. Day three, a slight in the Midwest and marginal, another marginal in the southwest. Day four, big marginal there, and this other big marginal. Day five, a slight in the northern plains, and marginal in another marginal. So this is it. Let's see if there's anything here. So the heat risk, Monday for Tuesday and today for Sunday. Be aware too of the heat risk. And let's see here forecasts. Some maximum temperatures for today into the 90s, all the way into Montana, 100 even. 100s in the southeast, 90s and stuff. Even 100s there, so be aware. Day two, 100s in the plains, 90s all the way to Montana, 100s there, and 90s in the east and southeast, and some 70s there in the north. Day three, 100 still in Texas, in the plains and southwest, and in the southeast too. So day 4, more 90s there in the southeast, 100s in the plains, 100s in the southwest, and 90s all the way to Idaho there, and more. Day 7, let's see, 100s there still, some 100s and 90s. Yeah, this is the 24-hour max wind gust. Show some for there, and even showing some high winds in Montana there. Let's see the 48-hour quantitative precipitation and stuff. Let's see some other features now. First, some more wind gusts here. So first here, with the euro there, for parts of Canada and Montana. Look, it's showing, this is Sunday, yes, it's showing by later today, like to afternoon or tonight, very strong winds in parts of Idaho there, some gusty in parts of California, near the coast, in Oregon, Washington, and it's showing very strong winds there in Montana and Alberta, especially like into this. This is kilometers per hour. Let's put this in miles per hour so you can get better. Let's see. So miles per hour, it's going like into the 60s miles per hour there in parts of northern Montana. That blue shades, yeah, is into the 60s, almost 70, I think. Shows like 51 in some areas. Yeah, not 60s, but like mid 50s miles per hour there. Winds. Some gusty in parts of Canada too. Let's see Sunday here. Still shows some strong winds by Monday morning in parts of Montana. Still in the 50s there. 50 miles per hour, 51, 52, 52. And let's see. And for Tuesday, like around morning or something, it shows very gustier. I won't say strong because this isn't so strong, but it's like gusty winds. So going all the way from Alberta to Ontario there, lots of gustier winds, especially down here in Wyoming. Look look at this, very strong winds there by Tuesday. To the 40s and the 50s miles per hour. So let's see. Occasions gusty in other areas. In the northeast too, next Tuesday, it shows some gusty winds. Let's see. Still some strong winds in Canada by Tuesday night and Wednesday. And this is kind of far out, but by next Thursday, the Euro has more strong winds in parts of Wyoming and Montana and Idaho there. And now it's really the 60s because it's showing some blues there, like light blues and stuff. This is for next Thursday, so this will change of course, but just so you can see. Let's see here from the her for today in the northeast there. So Sunday, yes, it shows stronger winds in the coast too today, especially strong winds with these thunderstorms there in Canada and the northeast for today. And even show some stronger winds by Tuesday there. So let's see. Monday, yes, that's Monday actually. Shows some stronger winds on Monday there too. And today with these thunderstorms. So be aware. Let's see the temperatures here. high into the 20s there in parts of Ontario. Let's see. Yes, in Manitoba too, into the 20s high. Let's see. There in parts of Saskatchewan too, in other areas. But not very hot. Let's see. And colder there further north, of course. And yeah, so this is it, I think. Let's see. Some more rain accumulation for Canada in the next 5 days. So a lot there, of course. The next 24 hours, next 3 days, and it shows more the next, yeah, not much, but a little bit more the next 5 days. And let's see in the next 5 days up here as well. Something there. Let's see. For parts of Western Canada too, as I showed you, and more stuff. Precipitation type is interesting too. Let's, and this is like a snow forecast maybe in the next 12 hours. It shows some there for parts of Yukon, some in the mountains there of British Columbia, Greenland of course. Let's see the next 24 hours. Shows some scared snow spots in the northeast there, some in the mountains British Columbia, and more in Yukon. In the next 3 days, still some in the mountains there, in Yukon, and more here in parts of northeastern Canada, it shows. And in the next 5 days, it has a lot of snow for these areas here of northeastern Canada. I think that's northern Labrador and Quebec there, and some more for these areas here, scattered in parts of the north, and some there in the mountains too. And this is it, I think. Stay safe today.